President Donald Trump announced on Wednesday that the U.S. will impose an additional 25% tariff on India because it continues to import Russian oil. The move sharply escalates tensions between the two countries after trade talks collapsed. The new measure raises tariffs on some Indian goods to as high as 50%, among the steepest faced by any U.S. trading partner. India's refusal to curb Russian oil purchases, which surged to a record $52 billion last year, ultimately triggered the tariff escalation.
I think that this is the lowest point that U.S.-India relations have experienced over the last 2 decades of strategic partnership.
Michael Kugelman is a senior fellow with the Asia Pacific Foundation.
I think that for President Trump, the issue really comes down to not necessarily economic issues or even India's relationship with Russia, but more broader geopolitical matters. President Trump clearly wants to help end the war in the Ukraine. I think that he is unhappy that Moscow has not heeded his calls for Russia to agree to a ceasefire or to stop fighting. And he wants to put pressure on Russia by putting pressure on India, a close commercial partner of Russia.
The new tariff is expected to hit key Indian export sectors, including textiles, footwear, and jewelry, and marks the most serious downturn in U.S.-India relations since Trump returned to office in January. It also comes as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi prepares for his first visit to China in over 7 years, suggesting a potential realignment in alliances as ties with the U.S. fray. India's External Affairs Ministry called the decision extremely unfortunate and said it will take all actions necessary to protect its national interests. It said India's imports were based on market factors and aimed at energy security for its population of 1.4 billion people. Trade analysts warn the tariffs could severely disrupt Indian exports. Trump's decision follows 5 rounds of inconclusive trade negotiations, which stalled over U.S. demands for greater access to Indian agriculture and dairy markets. Trump's executive order said the additional 25% tariff comes into effect 21 days after August 7th.